What's going on, everybody? So we're going to be going over Loot Exuberant Explorer today. We're going to do a quick deck tech. This deck was put together by my good friend Bernard. It is a very creature-centric deck based around a lot of land ramp and landfall. And it is running currently 41 creatures, a few sorceries, few instants, artifacts, and then 33 lands. So main goal of the deck is to really dig for lands, manipulate the top of our deck, and trigger that loot ability. So if you're not familiar with the card, it does say you may play an additional land each of your turns. That is very similar to Azuz's ability, which is actually in the deck. And then really we're looking for that key second ability, which says for 4 and 2 green, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card with mana value less than or equal to the number of lands you control from among them and put them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. So that's really where we're looking to manipulate the deck, get as much value out of that triggered ability, and you'll see that a theme as we go through here. There's very few combos in here. One with Springheart Nantuko and the Overlord, but it's not something that's going to go totally crazy. Very like mid-level deck. I think it's a good entry level. I'd love to hear what you guys think after we're done with the tech. Let me know any changes or anything that you would do to the deck to help improve it, or if you would just keep it as is. Like I said, built by my good friend Bernard. He's much better at building green decks than I am. I'm more familiar with the Demir package where he's very good with landfall. I will put a link down below to the Mox field for both mine and his, where it will link the deck directly. And if you'd like to support me, I do stream on Whatnot 2 to 3 times a week. There'll be a link down below for a free $15 credit. But without any more blabbering, I'm going to start going over the deck. Let me know what you guys think, like I said, and we'll kind of talk about it. So we'll start with the creatures. It is running 41, as I said. Very, like your basic landfall creature package here with like Ancient Green Warden allowing us to play cards from the graveyard. We have Ashaya, Augur of Autumn, allowing more top deck manipulation. We have Avenger of Zendikar taking advantage of the landfall triggers. Azusa allowing us to ramp even more land. And like I said, it combos with a lot of that top deck manipulation because we may be able to play those lands off the top of our library. We do have Bane of Progress as well. It's going to help us with some removal as to help deal with potential problems that our opponents have. We have Cavalier of Thorns. Again, more top deck manipulation and kind of like scrying. Courser of Crufix. Once again, more top deck. And then we have Craterfoot to really close out the game. Like I said, you are going to be able to manipulate the top of your deck, and you can move this to basically be in position for when you need it to come out. And that's really going to be the key theme as we keep going through this that you're going to see throughout the deck. We have Dryad of Elysian Grove. So again, going to allow us to play additional lands on each turn. And then it's also going to say that lands of every are every basic land type in addition to the other types. That's not going to be so much relevant for this deck. Farhaven Elf. We have Galta Stampede Giant, big stompy creature here. With that additional text. And then we have Greensleeves, Kodama of the East Tree. We're also running Kogla, Kona, Rescue Beastie. So the Kona was just printed here in Duskmourn if you're not familiar with it. At the beginning of your second main phase, if Kona Rescue Beastie is tapped, you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. So huge value for that creature there. We have Lotus Cobra giving us that landfall trigger, again, helping us ramp. Really, this deck is aiming to hopefully trigger loot by the third turn, if not potentially earlier, if things align in a way. It is very low on the artifact count, though, so really all of our mana is going to be coming from the land base itself. We also have Nissa Resurgent Animist, again, a landfall trigger creature here, ramping us into more mana even with the lands coming out. Nyx Bloom Ancient, another huge piece of ramp. We have Oger Caslim, Deepest Growth. If you're not familiar with Oger, came out in Ixalan. Whenever Oger deals combat damage to a player, reveal that many cards from the top of your library. So again, some more top deck manipulation. You may put a creature card and or a land card from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom in any order. So a lot of these creatures, despite having CMCs that are in that very high range, are going to be coming out very early. We're going to get loot triggering, getting us more of those creatures onto the battlefield, and hopefully getting us to start hitting our opponents extremely hard by turn 4 to 5. If not, like I said, you can throw in some things to give haste so that we can be doing it by turn 3 as well. We have Omnath, Locust of Mana, helping us. Oracle of Moldiah. Overlord of the Hauntwoods, like I said, this is a piece that can also combo. It's going to help us ramp, but it can also combo with the Springheart and Antuco. If we attach the Springheart and Antuco to the Overlord, then we can start potentially triggering multiple land creations from that Springheart and Antuco. And that will potentially also trigger additional triggers, say, of things like Scoot Swarm. So the deck can get really out of hand with the Scoot Swarm, as seen here. But just as a mention, and I do want to mention that we can also potentially slot in Triumph of the Hordes for something else out of here as another alternate win condition. We do have Radagast the Brown. We have Railway Brawler coming in from Streets, or sorry, OTJ. I don't know why I keep thinking this creature is coming in from Streets. Rampaging Ballast with another landfall trigger there for us. Sakura Tribe Elber, so Stee. We have Scribe Ranger, Scoot Swarm, which is basically an auto include in any deck like this. Seedborn Muse, which is going to allow us to untap, potentially protect our board or get any additional triggered abilities, say, for example, from Loot himself. We have Selvala, Heart of the Wilds. This is going to really be huge since we're running those large creatures. We're also running Silverback Elder. And then Springheart and Antuco, like I said, this is a combo piece with the Overlord of the Hauntwoods. We have Sylvan Ranger, Sylvan Safekeeper. Those don't really need too much of an introduction. We have Tireless Provisioner, Titania, Nature's Force. And then we have Topiary Stomper, Ulvenwald, Hydra, Vorinclex, Voice of Hunger, and Wood Elves. So that's kind of the creature package there. I don't want to spend too much time on each card because I don't want the video to be super long. Just want to be like pretty quick, like hopefully sub 10-minute deck tech here. So as for the sorceries in this package, we're only running 11, and of those sorceries, actually only one of them really I would say is kind of more has like a little bit of a utility feature versus just straight ramp. So everything in this package, so we have Animus Awakening Woods, Collective Voyage, Cultivate, Green Sun Zenith. Green Sun is going to be the one that is going to give us some utility here by allowing us to search our library. Otherwise, I would say even Awaken in the Woods here is going to fall into that land ramp, like I mentioned. We have Kodama's Reach, Lay of the Land, Nature's Lore, Nissa's Pilgrimage, Rampant Growth, and 3 Visits. So again, all these are going to help us get to that giant land goal that we're trying to reach to start triggering loot and get creatures out as fast as possible. As for the instant package, this is kind of like the opposite of what the sorcery package is. So most of these are purposed to protect us, to essentially prevent either us from losing a very key creature that we need on the board, or from potentially dying to combat damage or something like that. So that's what we have, something like Fog here to protect us from combat damage. We have Entish Restoration. This is the one piece that is going to be a ramp piece in the instance. And then we have the other piece that I wanted to mention was Worldly Tutor, which is going to be a tutor piece. But yeah, otherwise, Veil of Summer, going to protect the creature. Tamiyo's Safekeeping, again, going to give a creature hexproof. Snakeskin Veil, going to give them hexproof. Again, Obscuring Haze, that's going to help protect us from a huge amount of combat damage potentially. We also have Heroic Intervention, giving our permanents hexproof and protection. Gaia's Gift, giving hexproof and indestructible. And then Avoid Fate, similar situation there. So that's what the instant package, that's what the goal of the instant package there is. There's 10 of those. Hopefully you can draw into those, have them ready at the go for when something potentially is going to be hit that you really need there on the board. Worldly Tutor is really there to get either grab your Craterfoot, grab your Scoot Swarm if you have the ability to just start ramping out lands and just overrunning the board. It's there for you to grab one of those 41 creatures for the exact situation that you need. We then have Sensei's Divining Top, because like I said, this is a top deck manipulation focused deck. You're going to really want to be seeing what's at the top of your deck, adjusting it, and then getting that loot to trigger. Go ahead and tap it and getting it to trigger to do what you need it to do. Here for enchantments, we're running Awakening, Cream of the Crop, and Sylvan Library. So Sylvan Library is there for the manipulation, where top deck is, or sorry, top deck, oh my gosh, Cream of the Crop. This is what happens when you try to record a video after a 12-hour day at work. But so cream of the crop says whenever a creature comes into play under your control, you may look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the creature's power. If you do, put one of those cards on top of your library and the rest on the bottom of your library. So again, we're gonna get to adjust the top of our library and set it up for that next loot trigger. Then we have Awakening. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, untap creatures and all creatures and lands. So that is going to potentially allow us to just keep triggering loot over and over and over again. And that's also why we have things like the, oh my gosh, one of the creatures here, Seedborn Muse, sorry, in there, because we're going to be able to trigger loot multiple times around as we go around the table. So like I said, getting that loot to trigger as many times as possible is the goal of this deck, and manipulating the top of your deck so that you can adjust it to really get the most value out of that. And then as for the land package, really basic land package here. We're running a Blighted Woodland. So just one Blighted Woodland, and it reads, the utility on this is for 3 and 1 green, sacrifice Blighted Woodland, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. So a little piece of ramp there. Beseiju, which you're just going to run in any green deck, you really should have it there. So if you need to use that channel ability for something nasty on the board that's shutting you down, you can go ahead and destroy that. We have Castle Garenbrig for its ability as well here. It's almost always going to hopefully come in untapped because we have so many forests, 28. And its utility ability here says for 2 and 2 green, adds 6 green mana. Spend this mana only to cast creatures, spells, or activate abilities of creatures. So we'll be able to use that to activate loot, or we're just going to be able to use it to almost guarantee cast something out of our hand, because we have 41 creatures. Almost every other card you're drawing is going to be a creature here for us. 28 Forest, self-explanatory. Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx. Really, this is there for that second ability. For 2 colorless, choose a color, add your to your mana pool an amount of mana of that color equal to your devotion to that color. So being mono green, our devotion is hopefully always going to be way above that 2 curve. Hopefully 4 plus, giving us 2 plus mana above what, or sorry, 1 plus mana above what a standard land would give us, if not potentially more. And then we just have the Plaza of Heroes here to help protect a legendary creature there for us. So that is the deck there. I hope you guys take a look at it. Let me know what you think. Like I said, if you do build it, let me know how it runs. I think Bernard put quite a bit of time into this, and we kind of wanted to put this together before the release of Foundations so that you guys would have at least a base for building that loot deck out. Again, let me know what you think. Let me know how we can help improve these videos, and I hope to catch you all in the next video. Adios.